This is, of course, the Connaught Point at 8203, which is probably the most updated version of the Connaught Point here at Administration Office. And Connaught Point, Connaught Point's been in service for a long duration time. That increments of Connaught Point here at 8203 has implied Mr. McKenna Law Firm and also the Mickelson Certified Public Accountants here on Mainstream here at, of course, 8203. And we also got the bus routes, BFT, that goes through here, as you can see. The 1110. The 1110 comes through here at Connaught, at the Applicant Medicans PS Certified Public Accountants. McKenna Law Firm is implemented on Nickerson's McKinnon, Flynn McKinnon, which is Olive in Moses Lake, Washington. Moses Lake, Washington is Mr. McKinnon, 190 Olive, and Moses Lake, Washington, Rhonda Kaiser, Jay Mueller, Amy Mueller, Highlands Middle School, LDS Church increments at Flynn Memory's office, which is And this is Flynn Member McKinnon, attorneys at law, PAs. Flynn Member McKinnon, also here at the Connaught Point. Recommendations and increments, as you can see. Peterson Hastings Center advice, and also the Columbia Point. The water point and the center point of the monument, Columbia Point. You got a duck. Those are federal permits for ducks. Federal permits for shotguns and shotgun shells for ducks. And increments for Connaught. And this is the connote point, duck. He's gonna shoot it. So the Maryland federal ducking ordinances carry out Lola Hernandez, Roberta Barela, and Mr. McKinnon, Bill Gates, Andy Miller, and Chip from Boeing having sex with Roberta. See, Roberta Barela, Mrs. McKinnon, used to sit right up here. She sat up on these rocks overlooking the Simon's Mall and Mr. Donald Trump administration office. Used to be Dick's, this used to be the original Macy's, this used to be Macy's and J.C. Penney's. This used to be kids play. Used to be a kids store. child services CDHA pieces for that, and all this information is prudent to the services here. You see the information that they run, increments of all the water lines and increments of running into the McKinnon Law Firm. Sewer line, the water line, the domestic water line. See the mass structure. McKinnon and Roberta Barela, Lola Hernandez, and also Mrs. and Mrs. Donald Trump and Lena Trump and corporate to the water line, increments for the pond, and increments of running, increments of the processing, increments, all these manufacturer molophones, you know what I'm saying? There's increments for downloading procedures with the process of alleviating and releasing the constituents of obligation Microsoft program. And they have moderated their individual sarcasm as, Roberta Barela was murdered. Lola Hernandez is next. First death certificates in Annie Miller's office. That's Kennewick Life Care Centers, Virtual Life Care Center, Hospice Insurance for Apartment 205, Sacagawea Apartments. The aspirator, the Apple Life Care, the IV needles. That's kidney stones removed out of her. A Mexican immigrant pushed her off a ladder at a cherry tree orchard owned by J. Mueller. J. Mueller Administrations run the government issuing service for Cherry Tree, George Washington Street, George Washington House at C Street, and Tabler Wallace, which retains $10,000 in increments of lawsuits and services for equipment. Country Financial Kim Wayman, Secretary of State of UBI number 602720. So I think it'll all pan out. COVID-19. There's a dead state patrolman on the floor at apartment 205, Sacagawea Apartments. And Roberta Barela is dead, and she's murdered. She's on the floor as well. Lola Hernandez, she's at KGS Life Care Centers in Richmond, Kennewick Life Care, and Olympia, which is Mueller's Olympia office, Mueller's funeral home. And this water line, this water line was totally damaged. It needed to be cleaned up. It was pretty much filthy. And the ray of cultivation was pretty smells. And this is that Hastings. Remember. got 8203 Ken Lawford. And remember, Peter Hastings, Spirit Center Advice. Can't miss that one. The center of advice, the center of attention. Remember pump 1 and pump 2 in this Queensgate. This is A building. This is A building, B building, and C building for the nuclear reactor containment in Queensgate. This is A building, and A building has increments on everything. And then we got Homebridge. Now the Homebridge, you know, that increment of those bodies you're going to be burying. Oh, Homebridge. That's COVID-19. And then walk to Wells Fargo's advisors, South Dakota. That'd be Lola Hernandez, right over there. Now we talk Roberta Barela. Roberta Barela, you know, she was murdered. She was killed. Just like the state patrolman, apartment 205. His dead body was apartment 205, Sacagawea Apartments. And that's Roberta Barela. 8203. And then there's Fabian Barela. Fabian Barela is over on the other side, which is Center Parkway and Canole Avenue. He's still living. Andy Miller is still alive too. But Mr. Roberta Barela, and Increments Social Security Office. We got Homebridge, Wells Fargo, Homebridge, Increments, download systems, all the array of services. You can tell them. Now, Homebridge, we got a variety of increments. Of Wells Fargo's advisors. You can't miss Home Fargo's advisors. You know, you go Home Fargo's advisors. Wells Fargo, South Dakota, which is increments on their services with the strong arm. Strong arms, the South Dakota arm. That's Bear Arms, Second Amendment, First Three Religions, Amendment 1, Amendment 2, Amendment 3, Amendment 4. All these amendments of structures of the Wells Fargo advisors. Homebridge, under the paralyzing, the chastity of the increments of these full increments of the surface that you can see. Now, Homebridge. Now, Homebridge on these policy and procedures canal, you know, the rifling, trifling, competition series, which is the increments on the Citibank, which is Wall Street. You know, if you're walking on the sidewalk and you're attacked by agency, another agency, and trying to steal your money out of your pocket, or your driver's license, or your CDL license, AB, this is McKenna Law. The federal advisors in Wells Fargo of South Dakota Arms, oh, they love the prominent. When you have no warrants for your arrest, no out-of-state warrants for arrest, and you're on a crosswalk, and you're on the sidewalk, and you be attacked by officers, and you have no warrants, outstanding warrants for your arrest, you got material witness. This is the Simon's Mall increment. Walking through Annie Miller's office, and now don't forget, Mr. Annie Miller knows Roberta Barela, Fabian Barela, and they know the partake services of the policy and procedures of array. These individuals, sarcasm, processes, individuals. This is this is the cesspool that was pulled out of this individuality. Look at this cesspool. See the array of this confiscation of the services of distraught and lied to individuals. All to let them know that all these individuals are lying con artists. Mr. Obama, President of the United States, he's in one of the units. There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, J, K, L, M, P. There's A, B, there's 5 units, 5 superior court rooms. And he makes false information, Social Security Office, Lola's, Roberta Barela is murdered at 5 apartment 205, with her apparelactor, her cancer, terminal bed, her wheelchair, her scooter, her walker, her Komodo, her diapers, and also her increments of her. There's a patch she's put on her shoulder so she can stop smoking. Oh, look, we got litter bug here. There's somebody littering it. And you got tree cut here. You got a tree, fresh tree cut here. I'm in Mr. McKenna Law Firm, also the Wells Fargo Administration Office. Increments on their COVID-19 procedure and process. Mr. McKenna Law Firm has this beautiful postal service UPS box. McKenna Law Firm's office is to the left. You can see there's A building and B building. And we got, of course, the advisors. Wells Fargo's advisors. And those opportunities for the array of circumstances hold building A. That's South Dakota A building. And Peter Hastings, which is next door. That's C building, is A, B, C building. This is B building, McKenna Law Firm. Now, Flem Mermerman. Now, Flem Mermerman was processing Mr. Andy Miller and also Mr. McKinnon and Olive in that array of services I have, Mr. McKenna Law Firm at Building B, Flem Mermerman, McKenna Law Homebridge, and apply their services increments of satisfactions. And now C building, you know, there's A, B, C building, which is the Queen's Gate, the liquor reactor, and the Queen's Gate called the Hammer Mill. And that's A building, B building, C building, which has a liquor reactor, melts down the liquor waste into a glass compound alloy. So the liquor compound is melted to a plastic or to a consulted individual being able to shape it and form it and detain it instead of putting it in drums as a raw product. You can melt it down. There's an atom smasher. The atom smasher melts down this liquor waste into a salad. And the salad is now not liquor waste, it's a salad. It's a salad state. It's like glass, pretty much. It's a glass component. It's a finished, glossy kind of finished product. And McKenna Law Firm, he's been in the area for a long time. You know, the murder for Roberta Barela and the murder of Mr. State Patrolman Soderman, State Patrolman that was from Ridgeville, Washington Detachment Unit, have an array of circumstances of, they got an array of circumstances that you can see of confiscation services and serving your commonwealth and showing up from Gonzaga University going to Roberta Barela's. This is Roberta Barela's residence. There's a dead Roberta Barela was murdered and she's dead. Contacting the coroner, A.J. Miller administration, Frank Comisco, and also all the increments of the body bag increments and those services for the death certificate, which is in Annie Miller's office, with a broken laptop, broken phone, broken 2 laptops, and several phones, Samsung equipment, Verizon equipment. But this is Canola. This is it's not the worst. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Because we're at the coroner's office and we're at the Mueller station. There's a cremator. It's a jet engine paid for $80,000. J. Mueller Administration Office. I paid for all those services. That's dead. My mother was murdered, Roberta Barela. Mr. McKinnon is a witness because she knows Roberta Barela, Lola Hernandez, and also Fabian Barela. And Fabian Barela, Samuel Hernandez, Daniel Hernandez, Roberta Barela's brothers, Daniel, Cy Hernandez, Samuel Hernandez, Daniel Hernandez from Arizona, and the Texas family members that are living in Kansas City, living in Wyoming, living in Montana, living in Colorado, and also living in Canada. See the siblings and the children and her brothers and her sisters. There's Maria, there's Diana Hernandez, there's Samuel Hernandez, little Samuel Hernandez, big Samuel Hernandez. And Samuel Hernandez came to serve Fabian Barela, Andy Miller, Carrie Barela, and served Lupe Hernandez, which is Samuel Hernandez's wife. And Diana and Maria Hernandez, his daughters, Cy Hernandez, works at Balcamamo and worked at Easter Day Farm. Balcamamo is Balcamamo, and also Balcamamo is Tater Boy, Roberta Barela, Fabian Barela, Bakers, Cascade, Scone O'Connor, Washington Potato, SBC Majars, Asparagus Fields, which is in Country Merchant in Pasco. They have a Marigolan. They got playground services at Columbia Park. They got the Kennewick Man, which I took all the Kennewick Man and services increments, machetes, backhoes, shovels, increments. A work crew that came in there and removed the Kennewick Man in the service of breaking down the administration landscape where Kennewick Man was found. Now, this is the 8203. This is a small story. The small partake. And the UBI number 60. That's Ajmer Singh Nijjar, Cimaron 5 IC, Banquet Fire Restaurant Bar, Mindeep. There's Mindeep, car. Jasmel Kandar, that's grandfather, which is grandmother and father, which is Kandar and Mother Jasmel. But Lola Hernandez and Roberta remains in contact with the UBI number, which is still standing. September 11th, the Twin Towers fell, but it is still standing. They're still standing here, and the building still stands. The number's still there, and it's pretty much intact. There's no information lost. Mr. Donald Trump asking information at Davenport Hotel, historic hotel, and also Red Lion increments on the Columbia Center increments. Right across the street, they're building a 7-story hotel right next to the Red Lion increment. So there's some policy regulations going on. They filed bankruptcy. Roberta Barela, they murdered her because George Bush filed bankruptcy and Donald Trump filed bankruptcy because Donald Trump wanted a divorce and Melania Trump and Donald Trump were in a limousine and they're getting married. And they had $2 billion divorce as increments to the 7112 West Okanagan, 7110 West Coroner's Office, and 1401 South Union, Mueller's Funeral Home. Mausoleum, Pond, Water Lines, Benton PUD, 17th District, Kennewick, Benton PUD, Benton, the PUD, Avista Utilities, Natural Cascade Propane Line, which is 200 Union Street. Now it's 813 when Clam says. So screw you, which is right down the road. Now everything get compromised. That's International Airport. That's Air Force One. That's Melania Trump, Donald Trump, and Mumunganja in the box. Love Parekh, Kannar, Governor, Rikush, Mandeep, Kandar, Ajmer Singh Nijjar, for JOP, and also the increments that they have for the mother and father and siblings, increments for the settlement and the services increments for all the money received at Social Security office and Bank of America and also U.S. Bank and Chase Bank, and increments I got a key, you can go swipe it and automatic deposit inquiry manifest record. So that's all it. You should download that.